Welcome you all. Today in this video we are going to learn about a new traversal method or a search technique that can be applied to a graph data structure. Within a graph data structure, the different nodes of the graphs can be visited in a various series. There are two different methods in which you can visit the nodes of the graph. One is a depth first search method and the second one is a breadth first search method. In this video we are going to learn the breadth first search method, which is commonly known by the name BFS. Let us see how BFS works and we can visit the various nodes of the graph data structure. Consider the graph given. Let this be the graph. Now we know that there are certain nodes. They are A, B, C, F, D, E, G, J and K. And this is a directional graph. That means every edge in this graph is directed. The edges of the graphs are having directions in it. In this directed graph, we are going to perform a traversal. Traversal means we are going to visit the nodes of the graph. Remember, while visiting the nodes of the graph, you need not visit a node twice. That means you have to move through all the nodes of the graph such that every node of the graph visited only once. Let us now see how the breadth first search method can be used to do the traversal. For this, first we have to construct an adjacency list. What is meant by an adjacency list? Adjacency list has two parts. The first part specifies the name of the node and the second part specifies the adjacent nodes of that node. For example, let us consider the first node A. Now I am going to list out the various nodes that are adjacent to this node A. From this figure it is clear that nodes B, C and F are adjacent to A, which means all these nodes are directly reachable from A. So any node which is directly reachable from a given node is said to be an adjacent node. From the figure it is clear that B, C and F are adjacent to A. So in the first row I will be writing A and in the right side I will be writing all those nodes that are adjacent to A. Moving on to the second row, we are going to write the adjacent nodes for the next node. So after A, let me now write the adjacent nodes of B. So when B is considered, from the figure it is clear that from B, G is reachable and from B, C is also reachable. So clearly G and C are adjacent to B. So I have written, when we consider the node B, both G and C are adjacent to B. In this way, we have to take each and every node of the graph and list out adjacent nodes of that given node. So altogether there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 nodes. Altogether we have 9 nodes, and for all these 9 nodes we have to find the adjacent nodes. So A is having F, C and B. B is having C and G as their adjacent nodes. Coming to node C, let us identify which all nodes are adjacent to C. From C you can move to only F. That means only F is adjacent to the node C. Now coming to node D. From D you can move to only C. That means Only C is adjacent to D. Next node is E. From E, I can move to C, D or J. So there are 3 adjacent nodes that are reachable from node E. They are D, C and J. So node E will be having adjacent nodes as D, C and J. Then let us take the node F. From F, you can move to D. So there is only one node to which you can reach from F. So F is having only one adjacent node, which is D. Now after F, let us take the node G. From G, we can move to the node E and we can also move to the node C. So clearly G is having 2 adjacent nodes, which is E and C. After G, let us take the next node, which is J. From J, we can either move to D or to K. So D and K are 2 adjacent nodes of J. Now the last node K. From K, you can either move to G or you can move to E. So clearly K is having 2 adjacent nodes, E and G. In this way, for each node of the graph, you have to find out the corresponding adjacent vertices or adjacent nodes. After identifying each node and its corresponding adjacent nodes, you have to prepare a table, and the resulting table is known as adjacency list. So to perform the BFS or breadth first search traversal, you have to prepare adjacency list from the given graph. Now let us start the algorithm, or let us move on to the basic operations of breadth first search traversal. For this, I am going to use another data structure, which is queue. So to implement breadth first search, we have to use a data structure, namely queue. Now we already know how a queue works. Queue is a collection of homogeneous elements where you can insert the elements as well as you can delete the elements. Remember, whenever you try to do an insertion to a queue, you can only insert to the rear end of the queue, but deletion always occurs from the front end of the queue. The queue data structure has been already clearly explained in my previous videos. So it is better to refer the video for queue first and then come to the section of breadth first search. Without wasting the time, let us move on to the topic. So now we are having the graph with us and the adjacency list with us. And to implement the algorithm, we are also having a queue. And where is our queue? Here it is. This is our queue. Using this queue, I am going to implement the concept. Let me clearly specify the operations or the steps that are coming under the algorithm. Algorithm says you have to start visiting from any one node of the graph. That means it is of your choice that where do you wish to start the traversal. So let me go to the graph first. From the graph, I have decided to start from node A. So you have to select the starting node. After selecting the starting node, you have to insert that node into the queue. I am going to insert the starting node onto the queue. So since I have taken A as my starting node, I am going to insert A into the queue. So let me insert A first. Okay, I have inserted the node A into the queue. So this is the first step. You have to identify any one starting node, and the identified starting node must be inserted into the queue. Now the step number 2. You have to remove the front element from the queue. I repeat, you have to remove the front element from the queue. Now when the queue is considered, it has only one element in it, and if I am removing the front element from the queue, definitely the element A will be removed from the queue. Let us keep a track of the elements which are removed from the queue. So first I have removed the element A. Step number 3. Whenever a node is removed from the queue, all its adjacent nodes have to be inserted to the queue. What is it? I repeat. Whenever a node is removed from the queue, all its adjacent nodes have to be inserted into the queue. So when A is removed, who all are the nodes that are to be inserted to the queue? Let us see. The adjacent nodes of A are F, C and B. So when A is removed, all its adjacent nodes, which are F, C and B, are to be inserted into the queue. So let us insert all the adjacent nodes of A to the queue. After A is removed, I will be inserting its adjacent nodes F, C and B into the queue. Now queue is having front element as F, and at the rear position of the queue we are having an element B, because A is already removed from the queue. So now F is the front element, B is the rear element. One more thing. When you see the adjacency list, there are 3 adjacent nodes F, C and B. You can insert these adjacent nodes in any order into the queue. I have inserted F first, then C and then B. You can insert C first and then you can insert F, or then you can insert B. There is no specific order. Adjacent nodes can be inserted into the queue in any order. Clear? Okay. Now what? Again the process repeats. Once all the adjacent nodes are inserted into the queue, again you have to repeat the process like this. That means remove the remove the front element from the queue. That means the front element of the queue is F. Now I am going to remove F. Whenever a node is removed, it has to be specified in the list of removed nodes. So I have written A, F. That means first A was removed and after A, F is removed. Now what you have to do? When F is removed, all its adjacent nodes have to be inserted into the queue. Okay, so F is removed. So the nodes adjacent to F are D. And now D is to be inserted into the queue. So I am going to insert D. Once D is inserted, you can note that since F is removed, now the front element is C and the rear element is D. Again repeating the process, remove the front element from the queue. So this time I am going to remove C from the queue. Since C is removed, I am going to specify it in the list of removed nodes. C is removed, and once C is removed, the adjacent node of C is to be inserted into the queue. Now F is adjacent to C. But F was already inserted in the queue. So you have to insert only that element into the queue which is not at all inserted yet. Okay, a node which is not at all inserted into the queue will be selected and inserted into the queue. Since when C is deleted and the node adjacent to C was F, but F was already visited and it was already inserted in the queue, it will not be again inserted. So this time, even after removing the node C, its adjacent node will not be inserted into the queue since it is already inserted in the queue. Now, moving on. Again, now B is in the front position and D is in the rear position. Again, removing the front element from the queue. Since B is removed, our list will have B in it. Once B is removed, all the elements adjacent to B, that is G and C. But C was an element which was already inserted. So it will not be inserted again into the queue. But G can be inserted because it was not already inserted. So even though there are two adjacent elements for B, since C was already inserted, it will not be inserted again, and since G is to be inserted for the first time, it will be inserted in the queue. Simply speaking, unvisited nodes will only be selected so that they can be inserted into the queue. So this time C was already visited and only unvisited node is G, so I am going to insert G into the queue. So let me insert G. Once G is inserted, you can see that now D is the front element and G is the rear element. Okay. Again, removing the front element, that means D will be removed. Since D is removed, D will be written in the list. After removing an element, all the adjacent nodes of D, which is C, will be inserted into the queue, but C is already visited and hence it cannot be inserted into the queue. So even after deleting D, nothing will be inserted into the queue. After this situation, there is only one element in the queue, which is G. So element in the front of queue is G. The element which is in the front of queue is G. So the front element is now deleted from the queue. After deleting an element, it is added to the list of removed nodes. Once G is removed, all its adjacent nodes need to be inserted into the queue, which is C and E. But C cannot be inserted since it is already visited, but C can be inserted since it is not visited earlier. So this time I am going to insert E to the queue. So I am going to insert E. E is inserted. After inserting E, the front of queue contains only an element E in it. There's only one element, so front and rear both points to the same element. So as per the algorithm, you have to remove the element which is in the front position. So this time I am removing E, and since it is removed, I am going to add it to the list of removed nodes. So E is removed. After removing E, all its adjacent nodes will be added to the queue. So E is having three adjacent nodes, D, C and J. But D and C are already visited, so they cannot be inserted into the queue. But J is not at all visited yet, so it can be inserted. So let me insert the element J to the queue. So I am going to insert J. Once J is inserted, now the front of queue points to J. Since there is only one element in it, both front and rear are at pointing to the same location. So again, removing the front element from the queue, adding it to the list of removed elements. When J is removed, all its adjacent nodes will have to be added to the queue. And there are two adjacent nodes for J, D and K. D is already visited. it cannot be added, but k is unvisited, so k can be added to the queue. So let me add k to the queue. So I'm going to add k. Once k is added, and there is only one element in the queue, both front and rear pointers point to the position where k is stored. So since k is the front element of the queue, it will be removed from the queue, and the removed elements are stored in the list of removed nodes. Since k is removed, all the nodes that are adjacent to k will be added to the queue. K is having two adjacent nodes in it, E and G, but both E and G are already visited. Is it? So none of them will be added into the queue. Let us see the status of queue. All the elements in the queue are deleted. Not even a single element is being inserted into the queue. So the status of the queue is now empty. Every element of the queue has been deleted, and there is not even a single element in the queue which is left. So at present queue is empty. When the queue becomes empty, you can stop the algorithm. Algorithm quits. Now let us see the list of removed nodes. When queue becomes empty, the list of removed nodes clearly specifies the order in which the nodes have to be visited. So this is the order in which the algorithm breadth first search visits the nodes of the graph. So first it will visit the node A. First it will visit the node A. Then it visits F, C and B. After that it visits D, G and E. Then it visits J and K. What is the peculiarity of this order of visiting? We can identify that A is the node which belongs to the topmost level of the graph. F, C and B belongs to the nodes in the next level. D, G and E are the nodes of the third level. J and K are the nodes of the last level. So here breadth first search visits the nodes of the graph level by level. It visits all the nodes in a particular level, and only then it proceeds to the next level, and again it visits all the nodes in that level and then proceeds to the level just below it. So breadth first search is clearly